Marit Brommer, you are the Executive Director of the International Geothermal Association. You are going to give the closing word today in the second GEORG Geothermal workshop, and I would like to ask you, what are your impressions so far about these 2 days meeting?
Okay, well, thank you first of all for having me here, because it's GEORG who invited me to come and join you on this fantastic 2 inspiring days, I should say. And indeed, I will give the closing remarks. And over the past 2 days, I think what struck me the most is the passion of the people for geothermal and all of its products it can deliver to us as society. And I think this is not just unique for Iceland, but what it is unique is that Iceland and the Iceland knowledge on geothermal makes it such at this stage that other people can be inspired by what geothermal is more than just a fluid to produce electricity or power.
True. And we saw it like today, especially in the panel discussion and the plenary session, and all these people that came here to present their works. How do you foresee the future of geothermal energy in terms of all these diverse applications and also its diverse relevance for different countries? How do you foresee it?
So I think there are many ways to look into the future, and of course I wouldn't be speaking on behalf of the Geothermal Association that I see a prosperous future for geothermal energy. But I do think we have to be very careful about what our wish lists are in order to achieve the full potential of geothermal. And part of it lies indeed in the notion that there is so much more in geothermal than just electricity or power or heat. We can do so much more. But to make that visible at that international level so that everybody understands that geothermal energy has that unique ability to enable the energy transition further than just providing power or heat, that is going to be still a long way before everybody embraces that technology.
It's definitely something that is it needs people to think outside of the box and get to realize that, as you said, we should not always aim, when you think geothermal, for big energy, for big power plants, for but more perhaps like for food drying, for building greenhouses to sustain the food production, or direct use, like direct heating, because most people do not realize maybe that geothermal energy is available.
Absolutely, and I think this is also a big challenge for geothermal. If you look at the other renewable technologies, such as solar and wind, who are the most leading renewable technologies in the renewable space, they provide power quite some while already, and they have been able to reduce the costs for providing power on a renewable space quite significantly over the past 5 years. Whilst if you look at geothermal in that power, let's say, space, and in that power supply, geothermal is not going to be that competitive. It's not going to be the magic renewable technology that all of a sudden is going to drive the electricity push. But I do think that we should focus, in terms of pushing geothermal to the forefront, we should focus on the direct use, we should focus on heat and cooling, but predominantly heat. And we should focus on the additional revenue and the byproducts of geothermal energy, because that's what's making geothermal unique, and it's also something that comes very close to people's hearts and minds. And I think this is our crucial selling point that we all have to learn in the international geothermal community. We have to sell our technology.
Definitely. And talking about international geothermal community, we know that in a couple of years there's going to be a really important event for everybody that works in this industry. To come together, and that is the World Geothermal Congress. So can you tell us a little bit about the World?
Oh, absolutely. So the IGA is extremely proud to work with Iceland on our next, I would say our next big event, and that is indeed going to be the World Geothermal Conference in Reykjavik in April 2020. So it's 18 months from now where we will collect thought leaders, strategic setting, shaping the agenda of the future for geothermal energy up till 2040, 2050, where we will not only showcase the best practices, case studies, drilling efficiency, big challenges and grand challenges, open fora on how we are going to change that energy transition with geothermal technologies. But it is also going to be fun. It's going to be great. We're going to have at least thousands of people from different parts of the world who are coming to Iceland, this tiny island in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. People from Asia, people from the Pacific, people from Africa, South America. They are all coming to Iceland and showcase the world what geothermal energy means to them, to their country, and to the national objectives of reaching a cleaner and greener economy.
Yeah, that sounds really, really inspiring, and we really hope to have, it's an honor also for Iceland to be, the kind of center and kind of a mecca for.
I can imagine, because you have the unique opportunity as well to showcase your best practices, your lessons learned over 30 to 40 years of using geothermal, but also harnessing that additional space it can create for the energy transition. And I would also like to see that everybody in the international geothermal community, but also from the oil and gas space, also from other renewable technologies, submit an abstract before the 31st of January 2019, which is still a year and 4 months prior to the actual events, but we need that time in order to collect all that information and make, let's say, the sessions available to everybody. But I urge everybody to submit their abstracts and come and talk to the world about how important geothermal energy is.
And also this is, I think, a really precious space to build collaborations for the people who work in social sciences and want to bridge, the gap, also to spread a little bit the impact of geosciences in different communities around the world, and people who work in the engineering industry, in the geosciences, in the government, in the policy. We need policymakers to be actually involved so much in this as well.
And I thank you for mentioning that, because I think it was yesterday or the day before when the IEA, so the International Energy Agency, released their World Future Outlook 2018, and it's becoming very clear that if you look at big energy investment, 70% of the investment comes from governments. Only 30% of that investment comes from industry. So we can look at industry as a driving agent for change, but actually what we should do as a community is to keep on continuously, unitedly, and with one voice, influencing our governments, our political leadership, that we need to move away from oil and gas, maybe coal first, oil second, gas last, but still we want to see that shift and that transformation, and we have to accept that it's not going to be, let's say, easy, but we have to push for geothermal to come to the forefront of that transformation space.
Because everybody would win.
Everybody wins. Indeed. Yes.
All right. So 31st January 2019, the deadline for abstract.
Yes.
And yes, do you have any message that you would like to convey after this meeting or to the geothermal community?
Well, I think in general, those of you who are interested in submitting an abstract, please do so before the 31st of January 2019. In addition, I would be very interested on behalf of the IGA, but also on behalf of all the countries who are associating themselves with the international global, let's say, geothermal community. Pitch your ideas for change. Pitch your ideas how you see geothermal energy playing that vital role in the energy transition. Come to see us, connect with us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest. Connect with us on LinkedIn and share your ideas, because without the world, we only know what we can see in front of us.
Sure.
So I would like to get inspired by the people around me, but also those who may not be able to, in a position to submit an abstract. Please share your ideas, post a nice video, showcase your projects, and come to see us.
Communicate, basically.
Communicate, talk, be open, be visible.
All right, so thank you, Marit, for talking to us.
Thank you very much.
And for being among us in this event. And we look forward to the meeting.
Good. Right. Thank you.